What is a flying monkey? Welcome back. I'm Adeline Atlas, 11 times published author, and this is the Family Roles series Inside School of Soul. In this video, we're taking a direct look at one of the most misunderstood and emotionally exhausting roles in the narcissistic family system, the flying monkey. If you've ever tried to set a boundary with a narcissistic parent, go low contact with a manipulative sibling, or speak the truth about your family's dysfunction only to have someone else show up to guilt you, question you, or pass along a message, you've met one. So, what is a flying monkey? The term comes from the Wizard of Oz. The Wicked Witch of the West didn't do her dirty work alone. She had winged monkeys to do it for her. These creatures didn't ask questions. They didn't challenge her motives. They carried out her orders with blind loyalty. In psychology and family systems, the phrase has come to describe the people a narcissist recruits to do the same thing: carry messages, deliver punishment, reinforce narratives, and attack the scapegoat without ever getting their own hands dirty. Flying monkeys are the messengers, the spies, and the guilt deliverers. And what makes this dynamic so toxic is that it's often cloaked in care. They don't always show up screaming. Sometimes they show up crying, concerned, worried about you. But underneath the performance is one goal: keep the system intact by pressuring you back into the role you've outgrown. Let's be clear, flying monkeys are not always evil. Many of them don't even realize they're being used. Some are family members who believe they're helping. Some are people pleasers who think they're mediating. Some are afraid of becoming the next target, so they comply. But whether they're naive or malicious, the effect is the same. They carry out the narcissist's will, usually at your expense. Flying monkeys exist in every kind of family. They're not limited to siblings or parents. They can be in-laws, cousins, family friends, spiritual mentors, even therapists if the narcissist knows how to manipulate authority. And their weapon of choice isn't always aggression. Sometimes it's subtle, emotional, coded in guilt or pressure. But it always has the same goal: to pull you back into the performance. So who becomes a flying monkey and why? Anyone can become one. That's what makes them so hard to predict. But most fall into a few categories. Some are naive helpers. They genuinely believe the narcissist is the one who's hurting, and they want to restore peace. They don't question what they've been told. They see themselves as neutral, even noble. Others are trauma-bonded enablers. These are the people who've been in the system so long, they've forgotten what truth sounds like. They've watched the narcissist punish others for speaking up, and they've learned to survive by siding with power. Their loyalty comes from fear, not respect. Then there are the codependent supporters, people who base their identity on being needed. The narcissist knows this and plays the victim to draw them in. These flying monkeys are emotionally entangled, often believing it's their job to fix, rescue, or mediate. Some are passive-aggressive opportunists. They see where the power flows and attach themselves to it. These are the ones who stir conflict quietly, escalate tension, or report back everything you say because it keeps them in good standing with the narcissist. And finally, some flying monkeys are simply afraid. Afraid of losing access, afraid of being exiled, afraid of being next. And so they comply not because they agree, but because they don't want to be targeted. In every case, the flying monkey is operating under the influence of the narcissist's emotional field. And whether they know it or not, they're being used as a tool of control. So, how do you spot one? They often show up as the middleman. They pass along messages you didn't ask for. They say things like, "She just wants to talk," or "He's really hurt by what you said." They frame themselves as neutral, but everything they say is designed to make you question your boundary, doubt your memory, or feel guilt for prioritizing your peace. Flying monkeys will often pressure you to reconcile, but only on the narcissist's terms. They'll say you need to let it go, or that family is all you've got. They'll push for unity, but what they really mean is compliance. They want things to go back to how they were, where the narcissist had control, and you didn't speak up. Watch for the emotional manipulation underneath their words. If someone is constantly minimizing your experience, defending the person who harmed you, or making you feel guilty for protecting yourself, they're not neutral. They're aligned. Another red flag is selective memory. Flying monkeys often act like your pain isn't real, didn't happen, or doesn't matter. They gloss over years of abuse with statements like, "They're still your mom," or "He had a rough childhood too." They want you to prioritize empathy for the abuser instead of boundaries for yourself. So how are they recruited? This is where narcissistic grooming comes in. The narcissist builds loyalty before they ever need to use it. They flatter. They confide. They create a sense of specialness, like you're the only one who understands them. Then, when conflict arises, they activate that loyalty. They tell their version of events first. They position themselves as the victim. And the flying monkey, already emotionally entangled, believes them. Sometimes the recruitment is strategic. Other times, it's habitual. The narcissist has been using the same people for decades, and those people don't even realize they're playing a part. There's also the issue of groupthink. In many families, going against the narcissist means going against the group. So instead of challenging the lie, people go along with it. They repeat the script. They pass the message. They shame the scapegoat, all while telling themselves they're just trying to help. So who's organizing it? Always, at the center of it all, is the narcissist. They may not be loud, they may not even be visible, but they are always coordinating the system. The flying monkeys don't act on their own. They follow cues, narratives, and instructions. The narcissist plays director casting roles, shaping perceptions, assigning loyalty. But the system only works because other people agree to play along. That's what makes it so hard to untangle. It's not just one person causing harm, it's a whole structure built on silence, denial, and emotional obedience. So what do you do if you've identified flying monkeys in your life? First, get clear. You do not have to justify your boundaries to people who are relaying someone else's message. You are not required to hear them out, respond to pressure, or explain your healing to people who don't see you clearly. Second, do not engage with the message. When someone tries to speak on behalf of someone else, shut it down. Say, if they have something to say, they can come to me directly. That alone will disarm the manipulation. Third, protect your energy. Flying monkeys thrive on emotional access. Don't give it to them. Keep conversations surface level. Decline invitations to revisit old wounds. And most importantly, don't take the bait. Guilt is their go-to tool. And if you let guilt drive your behavior, you're back in the triangle. Fourth, stay rooted in truth. Flying monkeys will try to make you doubt your memory, your boundaries, even your motives. But you know what happened. You know why you stepped away. Don't let someone else's story replace your reality. And finally, if needed, go low contact or no contact with those who continue to enable abuse, even passively. Flying monkeys don't always change. Some are too loyal, some are too invested, some are too afraid. Your job is not to convert them. Your job is to protect your peace. Here's the bottom line. Flying monkeys aren't dangerous because they're powerful. They're dangerous because they've been deputized. They're doing the narcissist's bidding, often without question, and until you name it, you'll keep thinking you're dealing with a well-meaning relative instead of an emotional weapon. This video is your permission to stop explaining yourself, to stop entertaining conversations that aren't direct, to stop confusing guilt with guidance, and to stop giving emotional access to people who've already chosen their side. The next video will take this even further. We'll explore what to say when a flying monkey shows up, how to deprogram guilt-based loyalty, and how to cut ties to roles you never agreed to play. Hi, I'm Adeline Atlas, 11 times published author, and what you just watched is part of my signature program, the Chosen One series inside School of Soul. This series is not just a course, it's a blueprint for those who know they were different from the start. The black sheep, the scapegoat, the truth teller, the cycle breaker. Inside, you'll discover the family roles playbook, the golden child, the scapegoat, the enabler, the lost child, and how to finally step out of the part you were cast in without consent. How the black sheep becomes the goat, turning rejection into radical transformation in leadership. How to break generational curses and rewrite ancestral contracts so the pain stops with you. And how to recognize and escape modern forms of spiritual and technological targeting, from gang stalking to synthetic synchronicity. This isn't just about survival. It's about awakening, about reclaiming your voice, your lineage, and your destiny as one of the chosen ones. Click the link below to access the full series now, because the role ends the moment you decide it does, and the real script begins with you.